Good evening and welcome to Ask the Mayor. Blaine and I are on location. We moved from the conference room across the hall to the City Council chambers where there is an event going on tonight that we're kind of joining, we hope. This is the final meeting of a CERT training class. And Blaine, a lot of people may not know what CERT really is and what we're trying to do here. So would you like to explain that?
Yes, CERT stands, it's CERT, and it stands for Community Emergency Response Team. It's an organization and training program to help people be more aware of how to participate and how to have the skills necessary to respond in the case of an emergency. And so what's happening this evening is it's a course that it's an 8-hour course for 4 days, and so this is the last day of the training series, and it involves kind of a disaster simulation. And so we understand that there's cameras that are posted kind of throughout the City Hall area, which is where the disaster drill is taking place. And as you can see right now, there are victims that are scattered throughout as if there was a disaster situation. And each of them are injured or in some kind of circumstance. And so it's up to the class members to go through right now and assess the people as they go through the building and find out their medical needs or their specific issues. And then in an effort to identify those that need immediate assistance, as well as those that need medical care or just to get an assessment of their situation. And then they report back the results of what they find as they go out into the field. So we're hoping that you're getting a good view of this when it comes to the cameras that are all throughout the City Hall complex, as you can see how this particular portion of the class is being conducted. But it is called the Community Emergency Response Team, and each of these this is a volunteer class. There's about 25 members of the class, and we soon hope to be able to have some interviews with the instructors and participants, and then members of the San Dimas CERT team itself, the executive board, who are also here serving as volunteer assistants in this disaster as victims, but also overseeing and helping with the administration of things. And so it's a very active circumstance.
I don't know, Blaine, when people come wearing masks, it's a little scary.
I think these are the good guys.
But we know because of their green hats that say CERT that they're the good guys, huh?
Yes.
How long have we had a CERT program going?
We've been having training for some time. The fire department is the group that puts together the training, and so we've had training activities for 3 or 4 years. But our CERT team started organizing about 10 months ago, as far as those who have completed the training and had an interest in being able to be in the leadership of putting together the San Dimas CERT team. And so it's been 10 months, maybe a little bit longer, and the CERT, we'll meet some of them tonight, the executive board members, but they are providing the framework of leadership to be able to sponsor training like this and then help these class participants begin to be involved in the San Dimas CERT team.
Yeah. One of our victims here this evening is Council Member Ryan Vienna, and Ryan was when he was a member of the Public Safety Commission before he became a member of the City Council, was very interested in a CERT program and has put a lot of effort into it, and now he's here as one of the victims. And I might say he's a very complaining.
Yeah, he's a good victim.
Yeah, he's a good victim. Yeah. He's trying to get the attention of everybody, and they're ignoring him. But other than that, so we are going to have some people coming in we're going to talk to some people, and
it looks like many of them have specific responsibilities at this point in the exercise, and so we'll have to catch them when they're available. But of the 25 folks that are going through the training, there are probably, I'm thinking, 4 different areas around the complex here, and each one has different set of needs, and so with the variety of needs, then the team members are able to experience the variety of potential injury and difficulty.
I think they're out here now evaluating victim Vienna.
This is a great week to do this because we're sitting in this dais earlier, not just 2 days ago, in fact, almost 48 hours ago, there was an earthquake in our area, which, by the way, had an epicenter probably within our city limits.
Yes,
because of
turns out.
just how things worked out. And while it shook during the council meeting, Emmett was speaking at the time, and he must have had some earth-shattering things to say. But Ryan was one of those that just ducked right under the dais like he's supposed to. And so he's well trained.
Well, as people, you've noticed, we're not set up to take telephone calls tonight. We're doing all of this on the, just to be a part of, to observe what's going on and have a chance to talk to a few people involved.
But the email, I do have access to email, so that the email that's on your screen, if you have a question or a comment, we'll try that and see if that's a way to communicate to us, even though we're not available by phone tonight. You can email us through the email address on the screen.
This is like being the commentators at a national political convention.
Yeah.
Little chaos going on.
That's right. That's right.
Although they seem to be a little better organized here.
Yeah. If you're going to go through training, it's good that it's comprehensive. In other words, it's not a bunch of broken legs, but it's a bunch of different kinds of injuries. And if you're able to see in the visual of the different parts of the exercise, it's all ages, circumstances, because that's how emergencies happen and disasters, that they take us where we are that time. And so that's why it's good to be able to do an assessment drill where there's a variety of different needs, because that's what they'll see. But I think our victims are pretty good victims.
Yep. I hope some of them survive.
There are some that came in lifeless, and I think they're probably going to leave lifeless in the midst of all this.
I don't know if our cameras are on the young man that they're treating. He looks like a very good victim.
Yeah.
He may be the star of the show.
It looks like they may have given him another injury called a rug burn as they trying to move him.
Right.
All of the volunteers, as well as all of the victims, as well as class members or volunteers, helping to make this event what it is. And so, obviously, we appreciate all of their volunteers.
Yeah, they're improvising to use a chair as a stretcher.
So a lot of the CERT training is to be able to help with rescue or initial first responder. And so in that sense, they kind of supplement what happens with paramedics and firemen or police officers, because the theory is during a major emergency, there just would not be enough resources to go around. And so having someone trained and being able to do initial assessment and to be able to help with some light rescue is an important part of what the CERT teams can offer in an emergency response.
Okay, I noticed they're over there. Ryan is also a very good actor. Either that or they're actually putting a little hurt on him.
We'll pause here to kind of let you take in the visual of all this stuff, and then pretty soon it looks like we'll have a guest to be on the show. As Councilmember Vienna makes his way to the hospital, we hope.
We hope he makes it that long.
Looks like he's preparing for the worst.
Yes. We're ready.
Okay.
We're going to interview a few people who are involved in the program in various ways.
Have a seat.
Chief,
Mayor,
welcome.
again our primary CERT instructor, or would you like him to own our
I think we'll do it one at a time. We're live all the time.
That the microphone
we're
beyond you is live, so you can pull over to.
So we're live all through. So okay. Okay.
Then Dennis will speak about training. Maribel is a past student and observed
Okay.
tonight's episode. And then Beth is a student in this class who will give you an oversight.
Excellent.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Well then, Chief, let us kind of introduce you. This is Chief Jim Enriquez from Division 2. And so, Jim, just the logistics, there's a camera in front of you, and even though you can't hear the microphone go throughout, it's going directly onto the television now. So, and this is a live broadcast, and I don't mean to make you nervous, but you're doing great. Jim, maybe you could, Chief, you can give us kind of a background as far as the Los Angeles County Fire Department and their viewpoint when it comes to CERT. And by the way, we sure appreciate the willingness of the fire department to assist with the training. But some of your thoughts about why CERT involvement with the LA County Fire?
Well, sir, as you know, LA County Fire, we're a regional fire department, and we're your local fire department. I'm your local assistant fire chief, and Chief Osby is our fire chief for the department, and my role is to serve you as your local assistant fire chief. Regarding CERT, that is a program that we started in conjunction with LA City, and it's definitely to benefit the bottom line is it'll to benefit the resilience of the community. As you're aware, Tuesday night when we were sitting here in the council at about a little bit after 7:30, we had a pretty good shaker, and we all got a little nervous. But had that been stronger, and we actually had a regional event impacting, we would have been busy. Every fire station would have been impacted, and that's where the CERT program really is. The primary purpose is where these next 30 trained CERT members will emerge as the leaders, and they will provide that direction and leadership for the community, and to ensure their welfare and safety and render care when we're busy until we arrive. So that is the huge benefit of CERT, and I commend the city, commend all the members and you graduates tonight.
And so the instructor, which we'll meet in just a moment, is an employee of the fire department, and so tell us about how the department's connected to all this. And
so LA County, again, fire department, we have our CERT program, but it's a truly we have a partnership with the cities, but more importantly, we have a dependency on our lead instructors to volunteer their time and come out and organize all the logistics involved, all the equipment, get their assistant instructors, and initiate the program. And beyond the classes, the 7 sessions, they're also doing all the background work, creating the certificates, and more importantly, they're available for the follow-on. So we facilitate the program. We provide the training and the instructors, but it's truly dependent on our instructors taking initiative. And the good thing is that our instructors are all your local firefighters. So they know the community well, they know the challenges, and they're nearby at any of the local fire stations.
well, Chief, we appreciate you spending some moments with us. We do want to speak to the instructor. Thank you very much. And so if we could have the instructor come up,
Sure.
on up and then get a chance to
My
thank
pleasure,
you, Chief.
sir.
Thank you.
Hello.
This is Instructor Matt, but I'll let you introduce yourself and
Okay.
some of your background a little bit.
Okay. My name is Matt Hurd. I'm a firefighter paramedic. I work at Fire Station 32 in the city of Azusa. I've been a firefighter now for about 25 years. And recently I have been assigned the additional task of being the Division 2 CERT coordinator. So my job regarding that is I coordinate all the training for the local cities that like for tonight, San Dimas sponsoring this program, and I coordinate with my other instructors the training of the students.
Tell us a bit about the course itself, as far as what you cover, the curriculum, the number of hours, just a little bit about to explain the details of how the class is put together.
Okay, the course itself is a 20-hour course. It's standardized. It was designed by FEMA, so it's standard throughout the country. And then depending on the needs of the agency that's hosting it or the city that's hosting it, we can configure it in, say, 7 3-hour sessions in the evening. We've done 3 8-hour sessions or so on Saturdays. So it's kind of the needs of whatever our group might be. As far as the topics that we cover, we give an overall orientation to what CERT is. We teach disaster preparedness. We teach you first and foremost to be able to take care of yourself and your family. And from there you sort of branch out. You then step up, you help your neighbors, your entire street, and what have you. And then the members that choose to become part of an organized CERT team, they do so like we're trying to do here in San Dimas. They join that team, and then they would be called out in their formal CERT capacity at that point. Other topics we cover, again with the disaster preparedness, we'll teach them fire suppression. We'll teach them how to assess a building to see if it's safe to even go in as CERT members to rescue victims. We will teach them basic medical. They're taught wound care, splinting, bleeding control. From there, we talk about some of the things they might encounter as far as the event itself, the stress that it puts on them as rescuers. So we teach a little bit about the disaster psychology. And then it all culminates in a disaster drill, which is what we're doing here tonight. This is kind of everybody wrapping up everything they've learned throughout the course.
You know, hopefully our viewers have been able to see some of the video that's been happening with this drill. Could you explain some of the detail of it as far as what their role is and responsibility as they kind of move from place to place?
Okay, so what we initially did is the incident commander assigned through their operations chief, they sent a team in to determine, was this building even safe to search? They did, the team came through, they smelled gas, they shut off the gas to the building, they shut off all the electrical to try and minimize the risk of a fire, and they reported back that they felt that this building had moderate damage. It was safe to go in and rescue victims. The next team we send in is the search team. They come through, and in addition to looking for the patients, they triage the patient. So they categorize the patient as to how severe their injuries are. They'll put a tag on them. A red tag signifies immediate. This person needs to be treated first. The yellow tag is a delayed patient, and then a green tag is minor injuries. So the next team that will come through are the litter teams, and they are going to look for all the red tags first. They're going to get them out to the red tarp or the red treatment area where they can be given further care at that point. They'll then come back in, they'll get the immediate, the delayeds, and what have you. So out in the field here, you'll see that we have three large treatment tarps set up, and those correspond with the color wristband that each patient was given. We then have teams out there treating the wounds and doing all the supportive care until the first responders can get there at that time.
Amazing. You know, we want to be able to talk to the rest of our guests, and so just would you accept the appreciation of our community for doing this?
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm happy to do it.
Good work that you do. And
very pleased with the turnout we had here, and thank you very much for having us.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We're ready for another guest. Almost sounds like the dental office. We're ready for another patient. You know, Larry, do you want to introduce yourself and to our audience, and then we'll kind of get to know you a little better?
My name is Larry Giannoni. I'm the executive chair for the San Dimas CERT team and the current coordinator for the group.
You know, the question was asked, you know, how is CERT being applied in San Dimas? We mentioned the training efforts have gone very well, and we moved forward recently to be able to start to organize, to take the interests of people from their training and put together a team. And it takes an executive board and executive team to kind of move forward with that and move with the planning and the organization. And Larry is the chair of that group, and so that's the function that Larry sits. And Larry, give us kind of some background about the executive committee itself, kind of things you've been working on and what the next steps are, and any information you think our viewing audience would be interested in.
Great, thank you. You know, one of the things are important to the community is to know that this process takes some time. We're going on about a year now from, I think, when I originally met with you. And we had our first meeting. Out of that meeting, we were able to form an executive group. There are 9 executive members, and there are 3 alternate members. And they come from all walks of life. They're all community members, and they're all vested in making the CERT team a viable volunteer organization within the community. Each of the members has a specific task of dealing with different components that we need. One of the things that we're currently working on is getting our bylaws done so that the group has a formal path of which to proceed. In all of that, because of the need in the community, we've put on 2 training classes. The second training class, final exercise is tonight. At the end of this class, we're hoping to have approximately 25 to 28 members of the community that are willing to go out in the event of a large-scale emergency and be part of a call-out team for CERT. The other members of the community have chosen to take the class for their own well-being, to help their neighbors, to help their family, to help themselves, and that's perfectly fine. We want all those people to come and enjoy the class, learn from it, because our first role is, of course, to take care of ourselves, our family, our neighbors, before we would be able to come out to the community. People have different ways that they want to get back to the community. Some are the rescuers that really want to come out and be part of this, and others just want to have a role in being able to help. And we appreciate everybody that has taken the class.
This is one of those community involvements where there's a variety of ways that you can participate.
Yes.
You can be a full-fledged rescuer, or you can just be help and assistance to the team itself. And there's things to be done at every level along the way.
Very much so. And regarding the community, I'd just like to bring to the audience's attention that one of the goals of our CERT team will be to get out in the community in the very near future to hold smaller one-on-one, few-hour classes to groups that just want to learn about some basic safety so that they don't have to go through the entire class, although we would like them to. But we feel it's very important for Elise to get out. We had the earthquake the other night, a good reminder about safety tips, being prepared, and we're looking forward to getting out in some small groups and doing that.
You know, I'd like to say that we're very fortunate that Larry is a resident of San Dimas, and he came to us with a background that I'm going to ask him to tell you a little bit more about. That's just ideal to be able to find somebody willing to volunteer to assist us in this and has the tremendous background that he has was, I think it was a miracle. And we sort of, the first interview we had when you were being interviewed for a commission was, hey, we got a place that we think you could help us if you're willing. So why don't you tell people a little bit about your background before you retired?
Before I retired, I did retire after 44 years in law enforcement services. I started out as an explorer when I was 18 years old, and I rose to the rank of chief of police and actually the director of public safety before I retired, overseeing both the police and fire department. Had a wide range of emergency management experience, as well as field work and administrative work. And I knew as a chief how important volunteers were. So one of the goals for my wife and I, when we both retired, she retired from law enforcement as well, was to be able to give back to our community. And we're certainly happy to do so and look forward to it in the future. Well,
you have certainly been giving back to the community, and a lot of us give to the community, but we don't all have the talent that you have. That for this program in particular, I think, you know, it's Blaine, I know, counts his lucky stars, and so do I, that you were willing to be involved in it, and you're doing just a great job.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And, well, we'll bring in the next interviewee. This is great. We don't have to go and grab them and bring them up here on a stretcher.
No.
They're able to walk up here.
Yeah. And I've
Wanna say
already
that?
told him I like his T-shirt.
Mr. Mayor? I see.
Now, we warn your television set, do not adjust your set. This orange may cause you to go blind, but Dennis, do you want to tell us who you are and the role you play?
Yes, my name is Dennis Barnes. I'm the executive board for training in City of San Dimas CERT. Background is law enforcement, retired, and communications field. Blaine had called me one day and says, we need to get a CERT team, and are you interested? So I says yes. So here we are. I've been doing this ever since we've been doing the committees a couple of times to get the team started. This, like I say, there's our second team, or not team, but our second class, which is great. Next year, we hope to do a couple of more. As I'll highlight on what Larry said, that once we get everything set up, bylaws and so on and so forth, we will see who wants to be on a team and who doesn't. And like he had said, some want to do just their local, and some want to be on a team. And once they're designated on a team, then we're going to do live scan to make sure they're not criminals or whatever. And then we will go from that point, and it will be on a call-out list. But again, a call list doesn't mean anything unless they want to be called out. Like I say, you take care of yourself, your home, your neighborhood first, and then a call-out list goes out. And do not go out unless you're called first. That's so much. You can't do it on your own. Other than that, we will get with training next year when we get a group together. I know I've taught with Alicia in Azusa, in Laverne, in Irwindale, and I assist the fire department in whatever they want me to do for them. I already did my CERT class. I'm a CERT trainer, already did a CERT training class. I already have a FEMA certificate, so I'm pretty aware of what they need to do one way or another. But I'm not a fire department, so that goes to the gentleman that has that background. Other than that, I hope to get this team up running again next year for a couple more classes, get more people involved in the city of San Dimas, and make them aware of what they need. On that earthquake, like you mentioned, was an eye-opener. It wasn't a lot, but it was a 4.4 in Laverne. It was the biggest one they've had in Laverne in this area in California. So you got to be prepared with water, food, and whatever, and be prepared. That's it. I mean, there's no other way of saying it.
You know, Dennis, you're a very, very dedicated part of our CERT team.
Well, thank you.
And we appreciate that. Why do you do this?
Again, it's I lived in San Dimas for now over 40 years. I did the sheriff's department because I wanted to help in the sheriff's department and the city that I lived in. If you don't want to help your neighbors, then why are you here? I've gone, when I did Neighborhood Watch, I must have knocked on 150, 200 doors to get involved in that situation. And I have a sign in front of my door that says Neighborhood Watch. Out of all those ones that I got, I've only got 10 out of my neighborhood that want to be involved in the Neighborhood Watch. To me, that's ridiculous. I mean, law enforcement and the fire department can't do it on their own. Again, if there's a disaster, you're on your own. Could be 3 days, could be 3 weeks, could be a month. If you're not prepared, don't call, because they're not coming. They're going to be busy in hospitals. I had tweets last night, why all the fire department running and why the helicopters? I go, they're checking the major disasters, dams for one, if they break and they don't get flooded. Any damage in hospitals, they have an area to go to. You are last. So if you can't take care of yourself, don't call. 911 is going to go right by your house. That's it. So first aid, water, food. I've got 300 gallons of water, 6 months of food, and ready to go. And enough first aid to last me for a while.
Well, Dennis, thanks for spending some time with us, and thanks
appreciate
for
it.
your participation in all of this.
Thank you very much.
And your good work. If you register for future classes, you're going to run into Dennis.
I hope so.
He'll be the one that'll get you all
I
coordinated.
hope so.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thanks.
Have a good evening.
Okay, we're ready. Thank you. Hello. Why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself to our viewing audience and a little bit as far as what brings you here tonight.
My name is Maribel Gershman. I'm out here because I took a CERT class in Laverne. Was very interested in hearing that San Dimas was doing one, so I took the previous class. It was very enlightening.
Now let's make sure you go right in the microphone there.
And then for this round, I came back to help support this current class. And it is very different perspective from being in the class to being outside observing. But I love it because it enlightened me. It helps me help my family, help myself, help my immediate neighbors wherever the situation may arise.
You know, if, like the earthquake that happened less than 48 hours ago,
Yes.
Did any of your training run through your mind when that happened? Did you give thought?
Definitely. I assessed the situation right away. I happen to be standing on stairs. Where's the quickest, safest place to be, and who's around me, and get them to safety first. Assess the situation. There's no aftershocks, significant ones that to scare or alert anybody, and we just went from there.
Mm-hmm. You know, as far as it's not something you just kind of learn once.
You can't. You got to keep
Tell
practicing.
us a bit more about your experience from going through the class and then staying with the CERT program or being a volunteer and helping with things. How does that help you?
It reinforces it because you can read it, because most of the class is hours indoors, paper, reading, and hearing other people talk. But until you actually can do it without thinking about it, that's when you really know it, when you can do it. So coming back, and I plan to keep coming back to support the future classes and get more involved with CERT.
Were you a victim tonight?
No, actually, this time I brought victims for them.
Oh, good.
If you happen to notice, there were several Girl Scouts involved.
Good. You know,
So we brought them back
we
so
can
they
never
can be
have enough
experienced.
victims.
And it gives them awareness of what happens in a situation like this. So they're not scared, and they know who to look for and what to do, how to help themselves.
You know, someone in the audience I'm looking at now probably would say you learn a lot as a victim.
Yes.
And probably as much as anything, to be able to get a feel for it from very different perspectives, as a
Yes.
victim, as a helper, or as a former class member.
Yes, I was out there fielding some questions for the students and how to assess things or what to look for.
Well, tell us, what was your interest that got you to take the class? I mean, if someone out there in the viewing audience is kind of piqued a little bit by this, what was it that made you say, you know, I want to participate, I want to learn more?
I don't like the idea of being a victim or being helpless. There's always something that you can do to help yourself and help the situation to make it better. And if you don't know, there's plenty of resources out there to help you get started in anything. And when I heard about CERT, it's like, yes, we live in California. We're going to have an earthquake. It's not if, we will have it at some point.
So for that person that's kind of on the decision point, should I take the next class, what would you tell them?
Sign up for the class. There's something you can do, no matter what your abilities are, no matter what your age is, no matter what, there's something you can do.
That works for us, huh?
It works.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks.
you for
Sure
having me.
appreciate you coming and your help
Thank you.
and your offer. Next, please.
Thank you.
Hi,
My name is Beth Ross.
I'm Blaine.
Nice to meet you.
If you'll just go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewing audience.
Okay.
And it's that camera kind of in the corner, so right straight
Okay,
ahead.
Cool. Hi, my name is Beth Ross. I'm a current student of the CERT team. So I participated today.
Well, tell us, what's it been like over the last 19 hours of training for you?
It's been really incredible. Every class has been really super engaging. You take something away from it and you want to go home and you want to share it with your family members and your friends. So after class, I'm texting everybody like, make sure you have this. Is your phone over the internet, or do you have a landline plugged in just in case the internet goes down? So it's been something I was engaged in. I was the little girl that was always into emergency preparedness that I've been able to continue on into my adult life and get everybody else involved as well.
Were there some things about the training that was new to you, or things that were different?
A lot of stuff. Like, I didn't know how to do the carries, so that's really important. So if you are going through and you're serving your CERT role, you might be going through and searching a building and you come up to a victim, but you don't know how to carry them out. We practice that. We physically put them in chairs or put them on the blankets and carried them out, because that's number one. If you can get them out of the building, you're going to give them a better chance to survival. as well as just small survival techniques of just small things you can have with you to make sure that you're safe, just in your everyday life, like such as in your car, in your office, under your bed. You need to have shoes and a flashlight. Small little things that'll make it so you'll make it to the next day.
So when the ground shook a little bit recently and you felt that, what were the thoughts that ran through your mind? Did anything of your training come up, or?
I actually thought, I've been trained for this. So I was in the kitchen with my mom, and my mom's all running around like, doorway, doorway. And I'm like, no, drop, cover, hold on. Like, I was able to instill that part. But yeah, that was cool, because I was like, I've been going through classes for this. I'm ready. And I felt ready.
So now that you're almost finished and you look to the future, what's your thoughts from now? How is this going to be different for you? What will change in your life as a result of this class?
For me personally, I'm going to actually take this back to my workplace and create a small CERT team in my agency. I'm currently an emergency manager for Access Services. It's the paratransit for Los Angeles County. And so it's a great way for me to take what I've learned and make training programs to teach our riders and our customers to spread it to the LA County area in a different way. So if people can't maybe come to a CERT class, maybe I can instill a couple tidbits of information, such as having the gallons of water for up to 3 days, 7 days if you're lucky, and small things like that. So keeping it going by spreading the word, because that's how you keep emergency preparedness alive.
Do you have any other thoughts that this would be an application personally? Would you have an interest in joining a team or continuing with your, to kind of refresher training, or?
Definitely, because emergency preparedness is a muscle. You have to keep working it out and practicing. So I feel like to be a good member of a team, to be effective in the emergency, I need to be on a team, and I need to be going to the trainings to learn, to refresh how to do the carries, what type of skill sets I need to know to evaluate a building for if it's even safe to go into. So yes, very much interested in joining a CERT team. It's been a great experience.
Let's ask you the same question we've asked others who are kind of listening to all this and saying, this is very interesting and it sounds enthusiastic, but I'm just not quite sure. What would you tell them to help them make the decision to participate?
Would you rather take the little bit of time, the 20 hours out of your life now, and be ready for when the big one strikes? Or would you rather say that what if, or I should have, or I could have, and been prepared to help save your family member or help a neighbor? So I'm a big believer, do what you can do now and don't live in that what if and maybes. So just act upon it. It's 20 hours and it's going to save you and save your family.
Amen. Well, thanks so much for not only visiting with us, but participating in the class. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
It was nice meeting
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Oh, live TV, isn't it great? Now, I look in the audience. Are there any other souls that would like to take a minute and spend some time with us?
If not, it's about time for us to do the presentations.
Is that kind of the next? Okay, please do.
Okay. I think I think we're going to have to award Mr. Vienna an award because he was a really good actor. I didn't think he was going to make it, actually. He was. And I think some of them were trying to make sure he didn't make it, but
We're all here every Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
okay.
Sure.
I'll go down there.
Okay.
If anybody wants to take pictures, it's our custom here to let people come forward where they get a good shot, so you don't need them to hold back.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for your help.
Yes, for our viewing audience, we want to welcome you. We hope we can pick this up on the television screen. This is the graduating class of the CERT program for this evening, and so we welcome you. You are on live television right now, and so whatever, I know you want to kind of comb your hair a little bit, but that's too bad. This is what live TV is all about. Some of you have helmet hair really bad, and we know why. It's because you've been wearing your helmet. So we welcome you, and so to give you the logistics of this, as we make the presentation to you of your graduation certificate, the podium that's in front of me with the microphone is where we will make that presentation. And that's where you'll, so our distinguished group to be able to congratulate you on your graduation will greet you there. And so if you'll come up, and then there's a camera above me, so when you're there standing at the podium, you can look at the camera, give it a big smile, and then we need to let you know too that this is rebroadcast every evening after this evening. This is live, but it gets a rerun for a long, long time. So, but we welcome you, and we'll turn it over to those who are making the presentations.
Okay. Just before we start, I just want to tell you that the city is very impressed with the number of people who want to become involved in CERT training, whether it's to be a part of a CERT team or just for personal training. And I'm impressed with the number of people we have here. Probably most of you know that Ryan Vienna, who's right down here, was a great victim. I thought he was going to die, but Ryan, before he became a council member, he was a member of the Public Safety Commission, and he was very interested in CERT programs. And so he got the city to be interested in that, and he was really, so we could all give a hand to Ryan. He really got it started. And then we were very fortunate to have Larry come along and be willing to do some volunteer stuff for the city. He's a longtime resident, but just retired as a director of public safety in a city, and not San Dimas, but he came along, and Emmett Badar and I were interviewing him to be a potential member of our Public Safety Commission, and we found out all these good things that he could do, and he did not get away. We turned him over to Blaine. Blaine got him ready to do all this. So we're really pleased that for the way to get this all started, the number of people that we've had that have really taken a part. Of course, the fire department that coordinates the training, but everybody that does it. But most of all, to those of you who are willing to be members, come to the training and make yourself better qualified to protect yourself, your community, and perhaps serve on a CERT team that would do a little more than that. So thank you very much. And now I'm going to turn it over to the chief, and he's going to take care of the rest.
Good evening. I'm Jim Enriquez. I'm an assistant fire chief serving in the city of San Dimas, and certainly on behalf of our fire chief, Darrell Osby, and the men and women of LA County Fire Department, and of course on behalf of the city of San Dimas, we commend you for taking your time out of your day and evenings to commit your time and training and learning an excellent skill. The other night we were sitting here just a little bit after 7:30, and it shook. The building shook pretty good. I won't say who climbed under their desk immediately, but it's on video. You can see that. Nevertheless, you know, that was a good reminder why you're here. And had that been a little bit stronger, had that actually be a region-wide earthquake, which we're about 800 years overdue for the San Andreas salt segment that runs between Salton Sea and Palmdale to break. We are truly 800 years overdue for that. So that's why the CERT is so imperative that you emerge as the local leaders. The fire department, as you know, you see us every day on a routine responses, but we're going to be extremely busy. We're going to be doing assessing all the critical infrastructures, responding to collapsed buildings, and that's where you will emerge as the community leaders. You will become your neighborhood leaders. You had the training. You're going to be able to leverage your skill set. You're going to be able to provide that direction and save your neighbors when we're busy. And that's why we do CERT, and that's why I commend you for taking that leadership role. And to get you there, we definitely, thanks to the city for supporting that. Larry, who's going to be your leader as we move forward. And of course, our council to support. And finally, our instructors. We have Matt, who is our lead instructor. And we have Mike, our lead instructor. And we have Umberto, one of our instructors as well. So without them providing their training, and it's not only just the training, but they bring that experience and that the skill sets that they can teach you and guide you. So we commend them. I'll give them a hand for spending their time. So Larry, would you like to say a couple words, and then we're going to start with the certificates.
Just briefly for the group, thanks again for coming. I just wanted to also recognize Captain Berg and the Sheriff's Department, the sergeants here. I thought I saw Monique back there. They support the group as well. They participated in some of our terrorism training that was part of the training. So public safety jointly is a true partnership. And so I'd like to thank the sheriffs. I'd like to thank all the instructors and Chief Enriquez for giving their time for this. A lot of their time is spent on their days off, but they're here faithfully, and I'm sure you know that their heart is in it, and they've done a great job. So thanks to all of you. We appreciate it. We'll get the certificates done, and then we're going to have a debrief, and we'll talk about tonight's incident. Thank you.
And then Matt can announce the names and.
Okay, as I call you up, just come on up. I'll give you the certificate, and we'll get a photo op here with the mayor and the chief, and then go ahead and take your seat after that. So first one is Catherine Ailman.
Thank you very much.
Catherine, congratulations.
Jamie Baldoza. Paige Bruin. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Norma Castillo. Anna Dominguez. Congratulations.
Thank you.
William Douglas. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
You didn't want to be in this picture. I'm not going to try this last name, but Sarah Lee. Valerie Floyd Davis. Julia Gannon. And another one, I'm just going to say the first name, Dorian.
That could lift the building.
Yeah. James Lane.
Thank you.
James,
Thank you.
One more. Thank you. Morgan Lester. Jacob Miranda.
Thank you for being involved.
George Montanez.
All that work.
Must be a litter bearer. Nyla Jean Neat.
Congratulations. Thank you for being involved.
Kimberly Nustis. Teresa Oso. Felicia Perez.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Judith Shoemaker. JP Torres. Congratulations. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alexander Tunque.
Thank you for being involved.
And finally, Ginger White. They didn't necessarily get all the sessions, so.
Get the executive team up here to take a photo with you if we have a minute while everybody's here. The executive team, if you step forward, please. And the alternates, come on up, Paul, Don. Lisa, come on. No, come on.
Does somebody tell me I'm short? They're all good. Come on here.
Take your place, any place.
Just gotta come in front.
Wait a second.
I don't smell.
Yeah, no, come right in. Now I'm taking a picture and getting back up.
Well, I think tonight, that's, again, congratulations to everyone. And now you're going to do your after-action review, and that's a big part of our emergency responses. When we have our incidents out in the field, especially anything that's complex, we always get together and do an AAR, and we look for what could we have done better next time. And so this is a big part of emergency response, because as we get these, we're trying to make the best decisions given the limited information. So it's always very, very beneficial, but we also encourage everybody to be very honest, because that's the only way you're going to learn. So now we'll leave you to do that. And again, I commend our incident commander. She was put in a position of to take all that responsibility and direct and make decisions to achieve the objective. So thank you for stepping up and being that person. So. Again, have a good night. Enjoy the AAR. And again, I highly encourage you to continue to move forward. You have some great momentum. You got Larry here to provide that leadership. And it really depends on you just to explore and also reach out to your friends and neighbors and encourage them to sign up for the future CERT classes. Again, have a good night, everyone.